Welcome, everyone. Dr. Susan Brown, Director of the Center for Better Bones. We're going to answer a few Facebook questions, see if we can move understanding ahead just a bit. Like the first question regards dairy. One of our Facebook members says, gee, is dairy a good food or a bad food? And she goes on to say, I've read that dairy is acid forming and therefore it causes you to lose calcium from the bone. Well, let me just say that everything that has protein is a little acid forming. Dairy is just a really kind of very slightly acid forming, but any protein is going to be acid forming. And we need a lot of protein to build bone. By volume, bone is half protein. So we always say probably 60, 70 grams of protein. So dairy is not bad because it's acid forming. We need some acid forming foods. In other words, we need some proteins. But the concept that high dose dairy is going to prevent fractures, that has proven not to be true. In fact, we were just reviewing the data on that the other day with one of our interns, and it's very clear that taking high milk consumption or high cheese consumption really doesn't reduce fractures. And if you have, say, 800 milligrams of calcium in your diet and supplements, that's probably enough. The government has recommended 1,200 milligrams, but do not feel bad if you didn't take a lot of dairy, because many people around the world, the vast majority of populations, have much lower dairy intake, much lower calcium intake, and do really fine. Do remember that calcium is an important nutrient, but we do not need high quantities of it necessarily, and high dose dairy will not solve the problem of fractures. Now, the one form of dairy that's quite helpful and that the studies support that actually does help prevent fractures is cultured dairy, like yogurt and kefir. And those foods have these probiotics, these bacteria that actually help our gut be more healthy. Come to find out, our gut has a big impact on how we use nutrients and how we build bone. So there's your story on dairy. It's very interesting, but don't worry if you didn't consume a lot of dairy in youth. Just get your program going right now with all the key bone nutrients. You should be fine.